What is going on, football fans? Coming at you with another NFL video. And this is going to be my Week 1 predictions for the 2020-2021 NFL season. I'm so excited to do this. When I started the channel, there was no football going on, there was no sports going on, and now we finally have some NFL football, and I am so excited the season's finally here. The Giants play Monday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers in just, what's today, Thursday, 4 or 5 days from now, and I'm so excited to watch that game, as the first game of the NFL season goes on tonight between the Chiefs and the Texans. I'm going to be watching that. I'm pretty sure you all will too. I'm so excited that football is finally back, and no better time, no better time in the sports world when football is finally back. I am so pumped. I'm so pumped for the season to finally be underway. So I'm going to be doing my predictions, my Week 1 predictions. I'm going to be doing this every week for the NFL season. I'm going to be going game by game, and who I think is going to win each game, do my predictions. I love doing predictions on this channel. So I'm going to be doing my Week 1 predictions for the season, and I'm so excited to finally be able to do this. Yeah, NFL's back tonight. So yeah, guys, I decided to do my predictions. So yeah, let's get it started here. So the first game of the season goes tonight, Thursday Night Football, between the Houston Texans and the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they're the defending Super Bowl champions. A lot of people say they're the best team in football. I think they're the number 2, but I think this is a pretty easy win for the Chiefs. I don't really see the Texans coming close. Now, Deshaun Watson is a fantastic quarterback, definitely a top 5 quarterback in this league. He's extremely athletic, extremely talented, but the Texans lost a lot in the offseason. They had a horrible offseason. They lost DeAndre Hopkins, who is one of their best receivers, probably the best receiver in the NFL right now. DeAndre Hopkins, he's now on the Cardinals. They lost him. Bill O'Brien made some stupid trades in the offseason, and I didn't like the Texans' offseason at all. And I'm not a big fan of this Texans team. I really don't. And I know the Texans made the playoffs last year, and they have a really good quarterback. But besides that, not a lot to talk about with the Texans. They're not a great team. So I think the Chiefs easily win this game. I think it's probably going to be a blowout. I think they win this game by a couple of touchdowns. I don't really see the Texans really making it close. The Chiefs have an explosive offense, a great defense. Chiefs are probably the best team in the NFL right now. I think it's the Ravens, but the Chiefs are definitely one of the best teams in football. No doubt about it. They have Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be making his debut. The defense is good. There's not a lot of bad spots on that team. There's not a lot of weak spots on that team. They're a fantastic football team. They won the Super Bowl last year. They have one of the best coaches in the league with Andy Reid. The Chiefs run away with this one. Should be an easy win for the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs beating the Texans tonight on Thursday Night Football. So now we move over to the Sunday games, the original games. And the first game I'm going to predict on Sunday is going to be between the Oakland Raiders and the Carolina Panthers. Two teams I don't think are great. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders, I got to get used to saying that. I call them the Oakland Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders play the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. And now the Raiders are favored to win this game. And the Raiders are a team not really that exciting. I don't really know a lot about them. They're one of the teams I really don't know a lot about. I know Derek Carr is their quarterback. I think they have an okay defense. I don't really know a lot about their team. But what I know about the Panthers, I think the Panthers are probably one of the worst teams in the NFC. I'm not a big believer in them this year. Now, they do have Christian McCaffrey, probably the best running back in the league. I think it's Saquon Barkley, but you could definitely say Christian McCaffrey is the most dynamic running back in this league. They're not a horrible team overall. We'll see how Teddy Bridgewater does, but Teddy Bridgewater was surrounded by a lot of talent in New Orleans. Not a lot of talent down there in Carolina. He's got some decent receivers with DJ Moore. They brought him over from the Jets, the guy from the Jets. I don't remember his name, but I know he was on the Jets. He was a pretty good receiver for the Jets. But they have some weapons on offense, but overall, I don't really like that Panthers team. I think they're one of the worst teams in the NFC, if not the worst. So I see the Raiders coming out on top in this game by maybe 3 or 4 points. I think this game's going to be close, but I think the Raiders beat the Panthers Week 1 of the season. The next game I have, is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington football team. And the Redskins, or the football team, I think they're the worst team in the NFC East. I'm not a big believer in that team. Now, their defense is very good. They have Chase Young. They have Montez Sweat. They have some other guys. They have a very good defensive line. Their defensive line is nasty. They have a great defensive line. We're going to get to see how Chase Young plays in his NFL debut. We'll see how he does. And the Eagles are a team that I think are pretty overrated. I don't think the Eagles are a necessarily great team. I think they're mediocre at best. I'm not a big believer in that Eagles team this year. I don't think they win the division this year. I don't really like their team that much. We'll see if Carson Wentz can stay healthy this year, but I'm not a big believer in the Eagles in my opinion. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Giants fan. I'm not a big believer in the Eagles this year, and they have a lot of injuries. I'm going to go I want to pick I want to pick Washington to win this game, but I just can't. I got to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. I think this game's going to be really close. The Redskins played them really tough last year. And the Redskins, in my opinion, did get better. So I do think the Eagles come out on top, but I think it's going to be really close. I think it might be pretty high scoring. I think Dwayne Haskins plays well. The Eagles' defense isn't necessarily great. So I think Dwayne Haskins plays well. So I'll say it's going to be 30-27 Eagles over Washington. So the Eagles start off their season with a win. And the next game is going to be between the Seahawks and the Falcons. Now, the Falcons are a decent team. They're not terrible, but they're not great. They play in a pretty tough division. Now, we'll see how Matt Ryan does this year. He's getting paid a lot of money. They're paying Julio Jones a lot of money. Their defense isn't very good, so I think it's going to be tough to compete with that, that really good Seahawks offense. They can put up a lot of points. They have Russell Wilson. They have Chris Carson, DK Metcalf, ton of other guys. Tyler Lockett. The Seahawks are absolutely loaded. I think the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC. I think the Falcons can keep it close. I do think the Falcons can, compete in this game. Matt Ryan's a good quarterback, and they have a very good offense. I think this game is going to be high scoring, but I do think the Seahawks come out on top because I think the Seahawks are a little bit too good, and I think they're a little bit too much to handle for the Falcons. So I have the Seahawks coming out on top over the Falcons week 1. The Seahawks start off their year with a win over the Falcons. Next game is going to be the Battle of New York teams, the Jets and the Bills. Two teams that, one team is really bad, one team is really good. I really like the Buffalo Bills a lot this year. They have one of the best defenses in the league. I like Josh Allen. I believe in him. A lot of people think Sam Darnold is better. Personally, I think Josh Allen is better. Now, talent-wise, Darnold might be better, but as an overall quarterback, I think Josh Allen is the better player, and I see him having a good game in this game. I don't think the Jets put up a lot of points. I think the Bills' defense dominates. I think they have one of the best defenses in the league, maybe the best. You could argue that they have the best defense in the AFC. I like this Bills team a lot. I see the Bills winning 11 or 12 games this year. I think the Bills come out on top and beat the Jets. Now, even though the Jets, I do think they can keep it close. I do think this game is low scoring, but I see the Bills defense coming through, beating the Jets week 1 of the season. I think Sam Darnold struggles. Bills win over the Jets. Next game is going to be between the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pretty easy choice here. It's going to be the Colts. Colts are very good. The Jaguars are very bad. Plain and simple. The Jaguars are probably the worst team in the NFL. No doubt about it. The Jaguars are terrible, and the Colts are pretty good. We'll see how Phillip Rivers does in his debut. They have a very good defense, and we'll see how Gardner Minshew does. Maybe he plays well, but the Colts have a very good defense. Don't really see the Jaguars standing a chance in this one. I think the Colts mop the floor with them. Colts beat the Jaguars easily. Next game, this is going to be a good game. Going to be between the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. Now, the Lions had a horrible season last year, but that was mainly because Matthew Stafford barely played last year. And Matthew Stafford is a very good quarterback. Now, the Bears have a very good defense, very underrated defense, but they don't put up a lot of points. I think this game is going to be very close. Ford Field, the Lions Stadium, a very tough place to play. But I think the Bears just slightly come out on top. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think Matthew Stafford and Galladay play well, but I think besides that, the Lions' offense kind of struggles. I think the Bears' defense comes through. I think this game is close, and it's low-scoring, but I think the Bears come out on top over the Lions, and they win Week 1 over the Lions. So I just got to refresh my computer here. All right, my bad. So the next game is going to be between the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. This is going to be a very interesting game. We're going to be seeing how Cam Newton does in his first game as a Patriot. It's going to be the first game in a long time in Patriots history where Tom Brady is not wearing the Patriots uniform. Cam Newton will be the starting quarterback in that one against, I believe, Ryan Fitzpatrick starting over Tua Week 1. It's going to be a very interesting game. Now, the Dolphins are a team that always seems to upset the Pats at some point, in the NFL season. Every year, the Dolphins seem to find a way to beat the Patriots, but I don't think it's the case. It's in Foxborough. I think Cam Newton plays well. The Dolphins are a team I could see maybe sneaking into the playoffs this year. I think they're kind of underrated, but I do see the Patriots coming out on top over the Dolphins, mainly because Tua Tagovailoa is not playing. I want to see Tua in there before I see the Dolphins play well. I think the Dolphins start off really slow, and then they get hot near the end of the season. The Dolphins still have a very weak defense, so I do think the Patriots come out on top. I think Cam Newton plays well. Patriots beat the Dolphins Week 1 of the season at Foxborough. The next game is going to be between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. The Browns made a lot of improvements in the offseason. They have, what they already have. They have Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper. They have a loaded offense. Their offense is scary good. And their defense is very solid, too. They have Myles Garrett. They have other guys. Their defense is very good. This is a good team. And on paper, they should make the playoffs. But the Ravens are a fantastic football team. Lamar Jackson, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You could argue the most talented quarterback in the sport right now. You could argue that. Their defense is ferocious. They have Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown. Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends in the league. The Ravens are absolutely loaded. Now, I do think the Browns have the talent to keep this one close, but I do see the Ravens coming out on top. It's at home. Ravens beat the Browns week 1 of the season. The next game is going to be between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. The Packers are a team that a lot of NFL fans are down on. Personally, I don't see it. I still think the Packers are the best team in the NFC North. Now, I know Minnesota is a tough place to play, and the Vikings have a very good team, but I do see the Packers coming out on top in this one. I believe in Aaron Rodgers. I believe in him. I believe in Devontae Adams. I believe in Aaron Jones. I believe in their new head coach. I think the Packers are still a very good team, and they still have a very good defense as well. I think the Packers beat the Vikings. Now, I do think this game is very close, but I do see the Packers coming out on top over the Vikes. They win week 1. Next game, going to be between the Chargers and the Bengals. Joe Burrow's debut. This should be an exciting game. I don't think Justin Herbert's playing. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Tyrod Taylor for the Chargers. So we'll see what happens in this game. The Chargers have a very good defense. On the other side, the Bengals do not. I think Joe Burrow maybe has a pretty decent game, but the Bengals' defense is awful. So I do see the Chargers coming out on top over the Bengals. I don't think this game is very close, mainly because the Bengals' defense is atrocious. I think the Chargers come out on top. Joe Burrow might play well, but besides that, not a lot of hope for the Bengals. They're still a really bad team. Chargers going to beat the Bengals pretty easily there. Chargers beat the Bengals. The next game, probably the game of the week, between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Tom Brady's first game as a Buccaneer. I think the Buccaneers could be a very good team, but Tom Brady needs to have a better year than he did last year. The Buccaneers don't have the same defense as they did back in New England. The Patriots had the best defense in the league last year. The Buccaneers don't have a necessarily great defense. So Tom Brady's going to have to put up some points this year. He had a bad year last year. He's going to have to put up some points. And it's going to be a tough task because the Saints have a great defense. And the Saints are one of the best teams in the NFL. They're a fantastic football team. Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, one of the best veteran quarterbacks. They have a great offensive line. They have Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Mark Inger's on the Ravens now, my bad. They have Jared Cook, Taysom Hill. The Saints are loaded, and they're one of the best teams in the NFC, if not the best. I think the Saints beat the Buccaneers. I think this game is going to be very close. It's going to be a great game. Might be high scoring, who knows? But I do think the Saints come out on top over the Bucs. The Saints win week 1. And also it's in the Metrodome or where Mercedes-Benz or wherever the Saints play. That's also a tough place to play as well. So I think the Saints beat the Bucs. The next game between the Cardinals and the Niners. The Cardinals are a team that a lot of NFL fans are high on, and I can definitely see why. They signed DeAndre Hopkins. They have Kyler Murray, one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league. He's going to be a stud. Kyler Murray is going to be an absolute stud, but their offensive line is still horrible. They still have one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and the Niners' defense is ferocious. So I think the Niners tear through that Cardinals' offensive line. I think Kyler Murray gets sacked a lot in this game. I see the Niners coming out on top. I think this game might be a blowout. It might be a blowout. I think Kyler Murray does struggle, mainly because I think the Niners defense just rips through the Cardinals offensive line, because the Cardinals offensive line is so bad. They have a horrible offensive line. So I think the Niners, with that nasty defense, I think the Niners come out, win this game over the Cardinals, week 1 of the season. The final game on Sunday between the Cowboys and the Rams. Ooh, this is going to be a good game. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I hate them. They're my least favorite team. I can't stand the Dallas Cowboys. So I hope the Rams win this game, and I think they will. I think the Rams come out on top over the Cowboys. Now, I don't necessarily think the Rams are a great team, but I do think the Rams come out on top over the Cowboys. I think it's a close game. It's on the West Coast. I see the Rams coming out on top, beating the Cowboys, beating Dak Prescott, beating Ezekiel Elliott. I think the Rams come out on top. I think Aaron Donald plays well. He's one of the best defensive players in the league, if not the best. You could argue he's the best player in the NFL. He's a stud. I mean, their defense is still very solid, but I don't like Jared Goff. I don't think the Rams' offense is very good. I think Cooper Kupp is questionable. So I think the Rams' offense might struggle, but I think the defense plays well. I think they shut down Dak Prescott. The Cowboys never play well against teams that are good, and the Rams are a good team. So I see the Rams beating the Cowboys at home week 1. Cowboys lose, Rams win. So now we move over to the second to last game. My team's game, the Steelers and the Giants. Now, if you watched my first video on the channel, my first video I've ever posted on the YouTube channel, I predicted the Giants' schedule, and I said the Giants were going to beat the Steelers. I'm sticking to it. I'm not going to change my pick. I still think the Giants are going to beat the Steelers. It's going to be a very tough game for the Giants, but I see the Giants coming out on top. I'm not going to go into depth why I picked the Giants to win. I'm just going to say that, I think they're going to win because I think the Ben Roethlisberger. I don't think Ben Roethlisberger plays well because he's coming off of a big injury. So I think Ben Roethlisberger really struggles in this game. So I have the Giants coming out on top. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth of why I think the Giants will win in my video on Sunday, right before the game. I'll do my prediction video before the game starts, so make sure to stay tuned for that on Sunday. So make sure to stay tuned for that. So I'll be doing that before the game starts. But I do think the Giants come out on top. I'm not going to go in depth of why I think they're going to win just yet, but I have the just to kind of give it away what my prediction is. I think the Giants are beating the Steelers. My final prediction of the video between the Titans and the Broncos. Denver Broncos. I love this Broncos team. I really do. The Titans had a hot stretch at the end of the season. They just got hot at the right time. I think the Titans are overrated. I really do. I think the Titans are a really overrated team. I think the Broncos win. It's in Denver. Denver's a tough place to play. The air, the air is weird. It's very up. So it's a tough place to play in Denver. But I think the Broncos come out on top. I like Drew Lock. I like Drew Lock a lot. I believe in him. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. He has a lot of weapons. Melvin Gordon, KJ Hamler, Cortland Sutton. The Broncos are a very good team. They have a loaded offense. I like the Broncos a lot. Even though Von Miller got hurt, I think their defense can play well enough to stop Derrick Henry and stop, all their receivers. I think the Broncos beat the Titans week 1. I think it's close, but I see the Broncos beating the Titans week 1. That's on Monday Night Football starting at 10:20. That's a late game. I think the Broncos beat the Titans week 1 of the season. So, yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to list your week 1 predictions down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your predictions. So, if your favorite team is on this list and I predicted you guys to lose, sorry. That's what I think is going to pan out for whatever your team plays, whatever game your team plays in. If I predicted your team to lose, sorry, but that's what I think is going to happen to your team on week 1. So, yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Put your predictions down in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. So, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace. Let's go, Giants. And I'm so excited for football. Let's go, Giants.